Joe Burrow, they have opened his return for designation play window, which is 4 weeks. He's back off of IR. Remember, Jason Glazer a couple days ago said that he was aiming for Thanksgiving-ish. Obviously, this is before that, even though Thanksgiving will fall into his return window time. And we would like to let Joe Burrow know we're pumped for you, bud. Joey B being back is great for the NFL. And not that Joey Flack didn't do his thing, but obviously this team goes through Joe Burrow. D-Butch, what are your thoughts on Joey B getting back in the facility and maybe playing a little football?
I just love the message this sends to the organization, the fans, and his teammates that, he's busting his ass and trying to get back as soon as possible. You can easily, for a guy like him who, has the big contract, who you can say, hey, let me get fully healthy and just probably focus on next year because of how this team is constructed and how it looks like it's going to compete down the stretch. So I love this for him getting back out there and competing. Flacco, he did his job. He put up a bunch of points, threw for a bunch of yards. And he also took, I feel like, a lot less hits than everybody else had been taking, a lot less sacks than even Burrow had been taking. So maybe Burrow kind of saw a little bit more of that, get the ball out quick, take care of yourself, but defensively and the things around him have to be much better.
Bengals offensive line able to win anything?
Not good. Not good. They gotta get a lot better, and I think Joe Burrow can make them a little bit better by following the blueprint that Flacco did. He got the ball out on time. He got the ball out quick, not trying to always steal an extra second and a half and push the ball down the field. Let's do this, let's do that, let's get it down the field a little bit, then let's take our shots.
Here's some stats that aren't great for the Cincinnati Bengals. It's not just that their offensive line maybe not great at protecting, but worst scoring defenses in the Super Bowl era. That's since 1966. That's a long time, brother. In 2020, they're giving up 32.4 points a game. That's the Lions. In 1981, the Colts were giving up 33.3 points a game. In 1966, that Giants team, boy, they sucked on defense. 35.8 points per game. In this 2025 Bengals, they're giving up 33.3 points a game. Yeah, that's historically ass on the defensive side. They move on from a defensive coordinator, spend all their money on the offensive side, and basically tell two defensive linemen to kick rocks before the season even starts. And this is kind of what happens with the Cincinnati Bengals, Con, man.
Yeah, good for Luann and Ramo. Clearly not his fault. But the toughest part for the Bengals is the teams they've been competing for, for the Super Bowl, not the division, for the Super Bowl, are now the wild card teams. Like, they have to go up. There's a chance. I mean, we mentioned it before the show. There's a chance the wild card teams this year are the Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens. And if you were to say that, before the season, you'd probably be, hung as a witch. But it's one of those things where the Bengals, every single year, something seems to happen to them that gives them some sort of misfortune. And although it does kind of blow, they still have a chance. They're talking about, I think, over the next 3 weeks, I believe it's Steelers, Patriots, Ravens. I'm not sure if that first one's right. But if Flacco can get one of those and then Burrow can come back and run the table, there's a huge chance they end up with 10 wins.
Why not the Bengals?
Do you bring him back if you're the owner? Do you let him play? Like I said,
the owner, Mr. Brown?
Mr. Brown.
How much am I paying you?
Yeah, we're paying this guy, right?
Can you get out there? Now, on that note, what you're talking about is sound football mind. If you're not that Mr. Brown isn't, I'm just saying he is a frugal business sports mind. What we are saying from outside looking in, Joey Flack's doing okay. Your team's not going to win a Super Bowl this year. Do you want to put Joey B, who has been injured multiple times, including right now, do you want to put him back out there and potentially risk something for next season whenever you're maybe back? Is that what you're
That's what I'm just thinking, because he's clearly your franchise. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Had an MVP caliber season last year. He's dealing with turf toe, which we know sounds, not that bad, but turf toe sucks, especially if you one hit, one step the wrong way, it can start impacting next season already. So it's depending on where the team is, when he is fully healthy, I know he's going to want to go, but sometimes from that top, you got to protect the player from himself at this point. So that's the only thing I'm probably thinking and considering.
And in part two, it's just what the offensive line is. You know what the defense is in. Are you going to really throw them out there and say, hey, Joe, if you don't score 45 points, we're still going to lose, so you kind of need to be perfect.
I don't think it's about winning the Super Bowl. I think for them it's like, hey, Joe, we are our entire franchise. We paid both your wide receivers because you wanted us to. We paid you because you wanted us to. Like, you're our franchise and you can play. And I think in Ohio, he's an Ohio guy too.
Yeah, true.
They're not. They don't. Hey,
he's going to want to play. He's already showing that.
And also Bengals fans are going to want him to play because I think it's Ohio people. And if I had to guess, I'd say ownership. Hey, how much did we pay you? Yeah, we're at least filling up the stadium here to get these tickets back. I'm not saying that's the right decision. I'm just telling you, In this particular case, situations are situational. I don't think there's even a thought by anybody in that building to save this shit for next year. I don't think so.
No, if they have like a 1%, 2% chance of making the playoffs and he can come back, because like you said, they're probably thinking, hey, we need to make the playoffs so we can sell the limited edition, Bengals t-shirts, squeeze out as many additional shekels as we can. And like you said, he's going to want to play no matter what. So if they deem that he's healthy enough and there is even like a shred of a doubt that they can make the playoffs, like he's definitely going to play.
Yeah. Sorry, this entire computer just crashed over here, so we're trying to fix this thing as we're live on air. But I think he's going to want to play. He's going to want to play, and we would like to let Joey B know we appreciated doing it. Let's stay safe.
Yep.
I told Patrick Mahomes that. As soon as I saw him on Saturday. I think I've already said this on the show, but it needs to be restated. We said it to Joey Burrow, too, whenever he came on the show. Hey, enough with you just taking these hits that you're taking. The entire city goes as you go, brother. And it's like, Joey B was like, I think he told us, I like taking it. It kind of wakes me up when I get in there. It's like, well, just get punched in the face before you go out there.
Yeah.
Let's do a controlled punch in the face so you can kind of wake up and feel tough. But as we're playing here, we need you to be healthy. Joey B started his career taking huge every week. I mean, there was a shot one week where his head was dislodged from his body. Like his helmet was sitting outside of his shoulder pads. He was against Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, Fletcher Cox.
And then he bang, and then he goes down. And then he comes back later and leads them back to a tie. Remember, they had a tie game or whatever. He went back on the field. Then there's one down the sideline where he like lowers his shoulders, gets like bamboozled, flipped up over top. There's one where he's running back and forth, blindsided, dead. It's like we saw in the first couple of years just Joey Burrow just getting crushed. We had so much faith in him with how good he was going to be, but he couldn't stay healthy. This one's freak injury here. This foot one feels like a freak injury. So I assume he's very bummed out about it. But it's like if they can't protect him and they can't stop anybody, should there be a question on whether or not we roll the dice on next season here? With
I know it's anti-football, as a football player, the people in football, but as far as business goes, because the money is paid. It's already tied up, and you know who he is. Not like he has to go out here and prove himself to anybody. So that's just a question. But obviously, Joe, what's that?
He's got to prove himself to those season ticket holders because that was confirmed.
What's that?
That everybody was like, get me out of here. I don't want to go to the jungle ever again. This place freaking sucks.
Yeah, but when the ruler of the jungle is good, it's a good jungle.
That's a good point.
Sure. It was up there. I thought it was a cool jungle.
That was sweet.
I thought it was a cool jungle.
Yeah, Jage, we've kind of been talking about today, but Joe Burrow being designated to return off of IR. D-Buck kind of voiced the question, do you even play Joe Burrow with how bad the O-line is, with how bad the defense, actually historically bad defense? But here's Burrow coming back off of the turf toe surgery. What do you think about this? Do you think the Bengals can make a little bit of a run here if they, close out, win, 6-7, 7-8 for the rest of the season?
I mean, I think we always talk about the same things with the Bengals. It always seems like we're talking about the defense and the offensive line. And I've seen, obviously, the stats of what Flacco's been able to do behind that offensive line and make it happen. But their defense just isn't putting them in any situations. Obviously, Trey Hendrickson been out for a while. But I definitely don't put him out there until he's 100% healthy, because that's the guy that you want leading this thing for the very long term, and you don't want to risk. I don't think they're at a point right now where it's like, hey, if he's 70%, let's throw him out there and see what we can make happen. I think that Flacco is serviceable enough and does a good enough job that it's not at that point. But that's a tough division. The Ravens are clearly on the rise again. Similar to last year, their defense is turning around a very tough start into playing good ball again. Lamar's Lamar. And then the Steelers still sitting atop, albeit fragilely at the moment. If they're able to go out there and get that win, keep this thing rolling. But seems like week to week they look like a different team every week.
Lamar Jackson missed practice today, I believe, is what's being reported. Lamar Jackson did not practice for the Baltimore Ravens on this beautiful Wednesday that we have.